today, please make it a point to go through our page and see all the amazing interviews we had in the morning and in the afternoon. We are now in the conservation spotlight, and on the spotlight, we have the Zambia Environmental Management Agency. And from the agency, we have Mr. Friday Piri, who is Manager of Corporate Affairs. Friday, thank you so much for making time to be with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting us to this platform. I'm happy that we're here once again. We have been part of this platform for past years, and I know last year it was virtual, and this year it's also virtual. But even before then, we used to participate in the physical event. We're always excited to be part of this event and just share insights from ZEMA.
Okay, great. And we are always excited to have our partner organizations be part of the Conservation Careers Fair. So Friday is going to take us through what ZEMA is, who they are, what exactly they do, and what potential career paths prospective employees should look forward to. Over to you, Friday.
Thank you very much. So we of course, I've been introduced. My name is Friday Piri, and I'm going to take you through what we do at ZEMA. So maybe before we go any further, let me just share the screen that I have the presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
You can. All right. So basically, I'll just run through who we are as an institution, our mandates, our functions, what we do, and then some of the careers that are found at the institution. So as you can see from the screen, the Zambia Environmental Management Agency is a statutory body under the ministry responsible now for green economy and environment. Before now, we were under the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation, and Environmental Protection, which you are very much aware now it has changed. And there's this new ministry where we are falling under. ZEMA was established as Environmental Council of Zambia in 1992 under the Environmental Protection and Pollution Control Act, that's of 1990. And in 2011, the act was repealed and replaced by the Environmental Management Act number 12 of 2011. And that's what established ZEMA, of course, renaming ECZ to ZEMA, which we are now. Our mandate basically is to ensure sustainable management of natural resources and protection of the environment and prevention and control of pollution. Vision, as you can see there, is to be a proactive and professional agency that offers quality environmental regulatory services for sustainable environmental management in Zambia. Our mission is to effectively and efficiently provide quality environmental regulatory services in order to safeguard human health and environment for sustainable development. So we are at the bridge of economic development and environmental protection. If you look at our core values there, we have proactiveness, excellency, integrity, transparency, teamwork, accountability, and confidentiality. Those are the core values that define us as an institution. You look at the functions. Basically, we are an advisor to government and the private sector on all environmental matters, issues of policy and implementation. We, of course, coordinate the implementation of activities of all ministries and other authorities on environmental issues. There is no environmental issue that can be done in Zambia or can be undertaken without us getting involved at one level or the other. We develop and enforce measures aimed at preventing and controlling pollution. We also develop standards and guidelines, of course, working with other agencies that are mandated to come up with standards like the Zambia Bureau of Standards in the protection of the environment in liaison with other authorities. Like I said, we review environmental management tools. We are talking about the strategic environmental assessments as well as the environmental impact assessment reports. Of course, we initiate, conduct, and promote research. We do undertake studies and surveys, training, investigations in all environmental matters. We also do environmental education. Obviously, this is aimed at creating public awareness on environmental issues and monitoring trends of natural resources use and impact on the environment. So when you look at environmental education, this is a huge component where also we are, which is a mandate or that we undertake as Corporate Affairs Department. That is our baby when you look at the Act. So in terms of linkage with the Ministry of Green Economy, which is relatively new, but I think nothing much has changed for us because the mandate remains the same. We're just excited that there's a new ministry now that has recognized the environment and green economic issues as a key fundamental in terms of development. So the ministry formulates policies, then we as a statutory body implement these policies and any other that have to do with environmental management and protection of natural resources. Then we also talk about the minister appointing the ZEMA board, which obviously supervises ZEMA management. The minister is also an appellate body. You know, the Environmental Management Act gives the minister also some power at some level. If we make a decision as an agency and someone is aggrieved, they are free to actually appeal to the minister to say, I'm not happy or I'm not satisfied with this decision. And then the minister can either overturn or uphold the decision that we would have made. So basically, that's how we are linked to the ministry. Geographical distribution, we are divided in two. We have, of course, a head office here in Lusaka, where I am addressing you from. Then we have the northern region. In the northern region, we have our biggest office in Dola. Then we have another one in Solwezi. Obviously, we have plans to open one in Nakonde, Mansa, and Kasumbalesa, as you can see from that graphic. Then in the southern region, we have, of course, Lusaka itself, and then Livingstone, Chirundu, and Chipata. Then we also have plans to have an office in Mongo. Basically, that's how things are. So the blue represents the offices that are operational, and then the orange there represents offices that are yet to be opened, but plans are underway. In terms of structure, we have those directorates. We have the operations directorate, which is a core function of the agency. This is where you find all our technical experts, the scientists, and name them, those that are undertaking the core functions of the agency in terms of licensing, inspections, and everything. Then we have the finance and administration. Then we have planning, information, and research, and this is where we fall under as a Department of Corporate Affairs. Then we also have the Directorate of Legal Services. Then we have those two units, standalone units, the audit unit and the procurement unit. Moving further quickly, what do we do? So if we talk, I mentioned earlier on about environmental impact assessments or strategic environmental assessments. Here, this is basically about sustainable development, and we review these documents that are submitted to us by stakeholders and would be developers, those that want to set up projects or any policy issues. So we review these and eventually make a decision as to whether they can go ahead and set up a particular project in a particular area. Obviously, the operations department, which I mentioned earlier on, is key to this because they are the ones who analyze based on science all these activities that are submitted to us. Sound chemicals management, we also manage the chemicals. That's another thematical area that we cover. So here we're talking about implementation of pollution control measures, regulation of pesticides and toxic substances. And you can see there's a truck there carrying, maybe it's a danger acid or sulfuric acid or whatever it may be. We are involved also in this business, in the transportation or in regulation of hazardous transportation of hazardous waste material. Or hazardous components, whichever hazardous substances, whichever they may be, we are supposed to be consulted, and obviously we give authorization on that as well. So moving further, what do we do? Environmental monitoring. We talked earlier about research, training, and any other scientific surveys. So we also undertake that there. That's a team analyzing something in the field. On your right, that's the ambient air quality monitoring system. This is an automated system. We can put it anywhere and it will be measuring the air quality, the particles of the air that we are breathing at a particular time, whether it's polluted or not. And then someone remotely can be able to capture whatever it is, whatever this machine is recording without necessarily moving physically to where it is located. So that's one of the inventions that we have, or the modern technologies that we can boast of as an institution for now. Moving further, we also do environmental education, like I said, and you can see we undertake school quiz. It's one of the environmental education programs that we do. We do school activities like school education talks. And down there, you can see a photo of my former boss in a shopping mall, showcasing some plastic, or is it a new branded bag? There's what we are calling extended producer responsibility law that was passed in 2018, which I'm sure most people these days, when you go to shopping malls, you are instead of just getting a free plastic, you are paying. So that law is I mean, that component is part of the extended producer responsibility law, which has given the producers a higher responsibility than they used to have now, in terms of taking care of the waste that they are generating through manufacture of their products. What do we do? Domestic and international environmental law enforcement. We actually the ones who implement most of these multilateral agreements that are signed under the environmental conventions. Whenever government signs, then we domesticate them and ensure that we implement them at the local level, at country level. Of course, we review drafting of environmental laws and regulations. That's the legal department here. Facilitation of the board. The legal sits as the board secretariat to, I mean, they are the secretariat to the board. We also advise the ministry and any other legal matters. That's what the legal department does. But of course, we also take litigation of environmental crimes, both criminal and civil matters. So we can sue and we can be sued. As you may be aware, that's how the act is couched. Going further in terms of what else we do, should I say the career opportunities that are found here at ZEMA are listed there. Forestry, if you've done forestry, natural resources, chemistry, agriculture, biology, geology, physics, engineering, geology came twice there, environmental management, accounts, auditing, procurement, law, communication / public relations, human resources, and human resources management. So basically, we have quite a huge component in terms of career opportunities here. It's an interdisciplinary institution. You can be employed, but largely, like I said, the operations department or the operations directorate is our core. So that's the majority of the people you find. It's usually those that have done environmental management, forestry, or those kinds of scientific related or physical science related subjects. My role as manager of corporate affairs, of course, working in conjunction with the colleagues in the department. We formulate projects and media campaigns. We prepare, of course, work plans and budgets for the communication and environmental component. As I mentioned earlier, this is part of our mandate because it sits in the Environmental Management Act. So regardless of whether we like it or not, we have to undertake this because it's a mandate. It's an obligation that we have. Of course, we respond to queries raised by members of the public and other interest groups. We ensure that environmental education programs are undertaken targeting learning institutions. Even like this, which we are doing, this for us is part of awareness activities and education. We also coordinate state of environment reporting and supervision of such reports as and when they are due to be undertaken. Emerging opportunities, we have automated our systems. Of course, it is not yet fully done, but we've started this process. We may say maybe we are over 70–80%. We want to put all our services online. Here, you can apply for any license that we give as an agency through just this system. You log into the ZEMA system, and the system will take you through and help you to register and put in your account and apply for that license which you are looking for. And basically, once it is fully fledged, you'll be able to do everything without having to visit any ZEMA office. Unless you wish at the end of the day, when the license is out, you want to come and collect it physically, you can. But the system will be able to, you can be able to print this license or whichever application, whichever environmental license that you have applied for online. So you may be anywhere in this world and you'll be able to do that without any challenge. So that is the ZEMA. And then we are also coming up with our own very first laboratory, which will be built in Ndola. As you may be aware, we talked about chemicals and so many other things that we do. So sometimes we rely, at the moment, we rely on other people or other institutions that have laboratories to get results. But once we have ours, it will be obviously quicker to do these things when we get samples to be there, and then we have the results, because this will be owned by ourselves. In terms of the structure of the green economy, yeah, basically this I mentioned earlier, but it's just maybe repetition. National Constitution, those are the articles that talk about environment, the national development plans, the green economic policies, and the multilateral environmental agreements that we've signed as a country. Then we also have the Environmental Management Act and subsidiary legislation that has been put in place. And then we have the Urban Regional Planning Act as well, which has some bearing on what we do. Green economy readiness or available laws and tools. There you can take time to read on your own. That's all those sections of the EMA and other components of the law are the ones talking about the green economy. So you can take time to just download the Environmental Management Act and read for yourself. Of course, there are issues of innovation, green economy innovations. The extended producer responsibility that I talked about earlier on is actually falling in that category. It's a green economic model, that we've talked about. Then there's the strategic environmental assessment regulations, SI 48 of 2021. So basically, we have so much to do with the green economic activity. That's why we are so excited with the new ministry. Then climate change, similarly, that's another component. ZEMA, we sit with the National GHG Inventory Center here. In terms of reporting, we are the ones that sit with this, and whatever we give to the national government, this is what is reported to the international community on our emissions, how much we are emitting from the various sectors of the economy. Basically, here we're talking about forestry, land use and the other, forest, agriculture and other land use, industrial and processing, waste and energy. Those are the key, those are the 4 key sectors that the climate change GHG inventory looks at. So basically, I think in a nutshell, this is what we do. I can now invite questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
So much for that wonderful presentation, Friday. I have picked up a lot more things that I wasn't even sure if ZEMA was doing. And I really like the slide you had on different careers or different job titles in the organization. That's very, very helpful, mainly because there are questions coming from that. There is somebody that wants to find out if ZEMA does industrial attachments and what programs you consider as an organization. If I'm a student from the Copperbelt University, how do I go about attaching myself to ZEMA for my industrial attachment? And what is the procedure? Is there somebody do I just walk up to ZEMA and tell them this is who I am and this is what I want? Or is there a way that you have set for students and graduates to do this?
Okay, thank you very much. So industrial attachment, this is basically done mainly by our HR department. We, like any other institution in Zambia, are open to internship or is it attachment, as it were. The idea is we know that there are so many graduates that are graduating from the universities, various universities, with these careers on environment. So what you do, obviously, is we rely upon the letters that are written by the universities to us requesting for a particular student, because I know there's a difference between internship and attachment. A student is attached while they are still studying. They will seek attachment maybe for some few weeks, then they go back to school. So those they can write. Obviously, this one, they don't solicit on their own. This is solicited by the university sending them on attachment. So if you wish to come and do attachments with ZEMA, obviously the best is to write in advance. You seek that clearance from your university way before. Then they write to you write to us, and then the HR will look at, because it's an issue of space as well. You can be brought on board and then there are no tools for you. I mean, it means you are not going to learn anything by the time you leave. So that's why it's always important to do it well in advance. You write well in advance, and then the HR will have plans to say, we're expecting student A, student B, or how many students are we expecting from this time to this time, from this period to this period. That way, it works better. You know, we are a national institution, so and the demand is so high. So sometimes it's not that we're not just interested, but the space is limited also sometimes. So that's why it's always important to look ahead. You need to be determined, and obviously to be focused as a student, to say, whatever come what may, I'm going to do my attachments at ZEMA. Then it means you have to start working hard way beforehand, so that that space is created and there's room for you to come and work with us for that limited number of weeks which the school has granted you to do your attachments. Then in terms of internship, this is usually, yeah. I just wanted to explain on the internship. Yeah. I was saying internship, this of late we are doing it in also because of space. The institution would maybe advertise, and then we allow as many applications as possible, and then they maybe set a date and see it to do, and then we bring the interns. But because there's an intensive training that we are also undertaking behind the scenes. You know, what we are learning in the university's theory and practice, there is that gap. So to ensure that that gap is closed, there is some intensive training that is being undertaken by the institution internally. So even this area is also whereby you wake up today and say, no, I want to be at ZEMA as an intern. Regardless, you may not be able to get in, because there is always that plan to say, we want this year we are going to bring in 5 or 10 interns. And there's also a plan on how to train them. And then from there, it is obviously that there's maybe an opportunity of, if there is a vacancy or something, maybe you can be employed or what. But at the end of the day, we want as many young people as possible to get involved, because once they are exposed to environmental management, they may not run away from it, because I think it's so addictive.
No, that's very true. Once you're exposed to conservation in general, it's very difficult to turn away. So unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we still have some questions. So you can still send in your questions. We will find time to get Friday from ZEMA here to respond to them. And in just a few words, Friday, what would be your last words to the graduates and students watching you out there, hoping one day they could get a job as an accountant or as manager of corporate affairs like you at ZEMA?
Yeah, I think the journey is, I mean, the road is not so clear as we normally think when we are in college. So we should always have that at the back of our mind. But nothing is impossible when you put your mind to it. So I think the idea here is to focus. Let's not just learn for the purpose of learning and graduate. We are learning because we want to put what we're learning into implementation. And with conservation or environmental activities or environmental education, you just need to be passionate to go a little bit more than the education itself is giving you, because there's that passion that you need for you to succeed. So put your mind to it. Love what you are doing, not just because you have cleared, you've gotten a B plus and A. No, you whatever you get, ensure that you understand it, because it is going to help you when you get into industry to perform that which is required of you. Otherwise, the job market, we know, is not that easy in our country. So you really need to stand out amongst the rest, or out of the team that you are with, for you to be considered for some of these positions as and when they are made available.
Thank you so much for that, Friday. That was very insightful and helpful too. We've come to the end of this session, but the fair still continues in a few minutes. So please stay tuned to our Facebook page and invite your friends to like and share the content, and be sure to ask questions, because at the end of the day, we will be giving out really cool Conservation Careers Fair t-shirts. Thank you, Friday, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Same to you, Mina. Bye.